Hello, and welcome to Who Knew, a Doctor Who podcast. I am your host, Josh Carr, and with me today I have a ruddy, fantastic guest. I must say,
good description.
Someone I am a big fan of. It's George, aka Ace Creeper. How are you?
Hello, I'm good. I'm vibing. I've just said the same thing as I did last week.
Yeah, so for everybody, now that George has let this slip.
How long did that take? Half a minute?
So this is the second attempt at recording this podcast because Siri sabotaged the first attempt and stopped my recording after 15 minutes. We chatted for an hour. Probably should have checked it in that 45 minutes, but I'm a bad podcaster. What can I say?
No, you're not. It's new ground. You'll be fine.
It is new ground. So attempt number 2 for episode number 2 with yourself. Since we recorded the first time round, quite a lot's happened. Episode 1 came out of Who Knew. I hope if you haven't listened to it, go listen to it after this one.
Yeah,
there's no story arc. This isn't the key to time, but you can dip in wherever you like.
It's more like Series 11.
Yeah, exactly. One-offs. But thank you to everybody for the support. It's been a bit mad and a bit scary, but it's been fun. And we also had Doctor Who Day.
Oh yeah,
the Christmas for us nerds.
Yeah.
How did you find it? Did you have a good Doctor Who Day?
I did, to an extent. Yeah, I mean, it was nice to have the midnight announcements before. Finding out about the Steelbook and the Web of Fear, like at midnight, it's so exciting. I love when they do this thing where they make Doctor Who Day this sort of event, and they don't mean to. They just announce stuff on that day. So every year now, because of the new marketing team, every year when it comes to Doctor Who Day, I'm like, we're gonna get something. We're gonna get something like exciting, like that we might have to pre-order. You know, the only person who's gonna be hating Doctor Who Day from now on is our bank accounts, and that's
exactly. Very true. That's still all of those things have to be mine. Okay. And then we got the little bonus season 8 announcement as well. For the next...
that was like later than Doctor Who Day. That was kind of weird. It just sort of came out a couple of days later, and I was like, oh, that's cool. I was sort of hoping we'd get a collection announcement since it's been almost a year, but good on them for doing that. That was good. It was a good laugh. Now I'm just sort of craving the next one. So it's like got me hooked. So
I don't have any of them. I haven't dipped my toe in yet. Yeah, because I value money.
And I wish I could say the same. Yeah.
I couldn't bring myself to spend it, but then if you throw the words the Demons movie edition at me, you've got me. I will pay any money for that.
Have you pre-ordered it?
I'll pay any money for not yet, but I don't know.
You want to decide quickly because those things.
I know I do.
They fly off the.
They do fly, don't they? We'll see. Anyway, let's get in. Oh, sorry. Go on.
No, go on. No, go for it. No, go for it. It's fine.
You sure?
I'm sure. I'm not too fixed on the whole conversation about collections. Don't worry, it's all good.
Okay, that's fine. Because we've got a lot to get through.
Yeah, we have actually.
We've got a lot to get through.
Yeah.
Because you're a busy man. You've done a lot that we can talk about. But I want to start. First of all, I mean, this is a podcast where we talk about Doctor Who. I have a different guest on every single week where I talk to them about their experiences with Doctor Who. And it's hopefully good. So that's the summary. And I want to start at the very beginning with you. Where did it start for you?
Well, Doctor Who or the channel?
Doctor Who. Where did Doctor Who start for you?
Right. I was about 4 years old, I think, and my dad was watching Series 5 Series 1 in 2005. It came out. He was watching Dalek, and I vividly remember coming down the stairs and seeing the scene where the Dalek sort of elevates up the stairs and being terrified of it. I absolutely hated it. Ran out screaming, and about a year later, when I'd grown up a little, manned up a little bit, a 4-year-old, petty. Me and my dad watched both series 1 and 2 back to back, and sort of along a few weeks. So yeah, and that was sort of my introduction into it. He watched it when he was a kid. He watched Tom Baker and watched a bit of Peter Davison, and then sort of dipped out towards Colin Baker and stuff, and that's understandable. But he sort of wanted to see it wasn't even meant to be a subtle thing. It just sort of, but he was interested to see what the new direction of the show would be with Chris Eccleston and stuff and Russell Davies. So he wanted to watch that, and then he knew I'd like it, and it, as they say, the rest is history. And that's just how it went. I just sort of watched it, loved it, carried on.
Yeah, because it's interesting that you dipped your toe in, went back out a bit, and then
I was too young to understand,
and then binged. It's quite a modern way of doing it. Binging 2 series.
Well, my dad had them on DVD, and he was like, "Let's just watch them," because he knew I'd like it, and it was like it was to get me into something that wasn't Spider-Man, because I was obsessed with Spider-Man for years, and it was like,
really
something else, and Star Wars as well. But it was like let's get you into something else. Like just try this, So I don't know if it was about that. I think it was just at the time I remember being obsessed with Spider-Man, and then suddenly I was dressed in this little David Tennant outfit with. Did you ever see when you were younger? Did you ever remember it was like a David Tennant Halloween costume they released, and it came with like latex hair? Yeah, and like I had that, and I just had this weird like memory awoken to me, like trying to put this like latex wig on. Like, has anyone ever tried to do that? Like, that's mental. Yeah.
Why would they make a latex wig?
Just include a little sachet of gel. Sure.
Yeah.
And you got it. Bob's your uncle.
That is a strange one. Yeah, no, I never went for that. I distinctly remember wearing my dad's leather jacket.
Oh, brilliant.
And I think I got a buzz cut as well.
Brilliant.
Like I got this short buzz cut, so I just looked like this tiny, like mini fat Christopher Eccleston, just running about the place in this oversized leather jacket.
That's brilliant.
So would you say that David's your doctor more than Chris, or would you say?
Yeah, I mean, Chris was my first doctor. David's like my childhood doctor, just because we would watch series 1 and 2 over the span of a couple of weeks. So for me, Chris's series didn't last a year like everyone else who watched it live. It lasted like a week, and then it was David Tennant, and then I watched like Runaway Bride at Christmas, and then series 3 when it came out, series 4 when it came out. Like David Tennant was the one, like my doctor for like the longest until like Matt Smith. Like growing up with the show and like from first watching it almost to where I was when like David Tennant regenerated, it was like all David Tennant. So all my love came from that era, really. So I definitely say that Tennant is my doctor, if you will. Not my favourite, I don't think, but like now, but definitely like my childhood doctor, yeah.
Okay. So, because it's quite... So yeah, like when you say about how like it lasted a week for you, it's quite you think about how different people's experiences are with the way that they watch it, because it's like you said, like for me, I started that first night with Rose in 2005, so I had a good like few months with Christopher Eccleston, and it was all booming around then. Then for you, it was like a week, so it's obviously going to have less of an impression.
Yeah.
We refer to it as an era when really it's what, like 10 hours.
Yeah,
like,
it's not even that. Yeah, the big
weird,
finish box sets that are coming out next year are going to be more than what you did for the show initially.
That's crazy.
That's already going to like dwarf it. It'll more than like double it, and that's mad to me, like that. But then that's a separate thing. I think with Eccleston, like, I wouldn't say like I just didn't appreciate Eccleston, because I definitely do, especially now. Because as a kid I had the DVDs, I just rewatched them. So in the run up to like Runaway Bride, I would rewatch episodes, and one of my favourites of all time, and it still is Parting of the Ways. I absolutely adore it. Whether it be the weird aspect of regeneration, whether it be the Emperor Dalek, whether it be just this army going around killing everything. It is dark. The music, the vibe of it, everything was perfect. And I genuinely believe it still is perfect to this day. It's one of the ones that is definitely up there that just sort of gets forgotten about because you've got like stuff like Heaven Sent and stuff. But that, I remember School Reunion, I always had like weird memory of. Weirdly enough, not about Sarah Jane, more about like, or like K9 or anything, more about like the Krillitane and the school, and more specifically like the music. Murray Gould did this thing in series 2 where like you put like a school bell into like every track, and like you just sort of, you hear that noise, you think of series 2. It's actually kind of weirdly hypnotic in a way. It's weird.
Yeah, it is a bit. Yeah, Tom Vance mentioned School Reunion as well. So that's interesting because that's one of the things that I'm excited about with this podcast. Like the more guests we get on, just comparing people's jumping on points and specific little bits that they remember.
Yeah.
But yes, there's always like I feel like there's the jumping on point is the start of the series, and then each series has this weird middle episode where you seem to get a lot of people jump on. Like series 1, I feel like a lot of people that I've spoken to jumped on at the Slitheen. So sorry if there was a little gap there. We just had to stop recording for a minute because you tell them why, George.
We saw some potatoes and they looked funny on Twitter.
Yeah, funny potatoes.
We're talking about Centaurans, by the way, for those of you who haven't got the reference. Someone just tagged me in a thing, and it was like some new footages from Centaurans to Series 13. So, that's why we just sort of
imagine.
Stopped. Yeah,
I hope we haven't got some kind of alien that just happens to look exactly like a Sontaran from a distance. It must be a Sontaran.
It's got to be, innit? It has to be.
Yeah.
Did you see
they look great.
Did you see what Chris Chibnall was? There's like an interview with him today. I think he's talking about Series 13. Now I don't know how valid this is because I haven't actually like looked at it or sourced it or anything like that. But they were talking today about like, we'll have like classic villains come back and all that sort of thing, but there's monsters within the last 15 years that we want to bring back as well. And it's like, so obviously we've got the Sontarans that potentially in Series 13, but then now we're looking at a monster exclusively brought in from 2005 onwards now. So we've had the Jadoon. What's the chances of seeing the Weeping Angels or the Vashta Nerada again or something? That'd be amazing. That's what I want to
That would be amazing. I'd love to see what someone else would do with the Weeping Angels.
Yeah.
Like other than in the Moffat era or Moffat writing them in the Russell era.
Yeah, I mean, a fresh mind to write the Weeping Angels that isn't Stephen Moffat would be interesting, I feel.
Yeah, I would really like that. I'd also love to see the Ood back.
Oh yeah, actually, to be fair, they're probably one that's probably what it'll be.
Yeah, I imagine so.
Ood are always the bloody go-to, aren't they? I do like the Ood, but
I love them.
They're always them bloody ones who keep showing up, aren't they?
I've got this thing, and now I've mentioned it in episode 1 and episode 2, it's probably going to become a running thing now. I want the Sensorites back, and I think the Sensorites could play like an Ood type, just a chill monster that pops up every now and again and says hello, or a monster that comes and does a bit of exposition in a random episode. I'd quite like that. And I like the Sensorites. They're creepy. They're weird.
Yeah.
I'd like to see them back.
That's an interesting one. I mean, I need to see more Classic Who to make a proper judgment about things like that because I don't really know.
That was going to be my next question, actually. So thank you for the
good segue.
For the link.
Good segue. There we go.
He's a professional. He's a YouTuber. he knows.
I'm doing it so well accidentally. Look at that.
Oh yeah. He's just vibing, as he said many a time.
Literally many a time.
So, Classic Who.
Yeah.
What have your experiences been so far? Because I've seen that you've done a few. I think you've done a few reviews on YouTube and stuff like that.
I'll be honest, not much. I need to watch more.
Yeah.
I just haven't got around to it. I just haven't had the time. Like I really, and this is why people go like, have you seen this Big Finish story? I'm like, mate, I've not even seen like half a classic here yet. Like, I've got so much to watch. I do have a little diagram that I made myself where I could sort of mark off like a sort of scratch chart almost of which ones I've watched.
Oh, I've used it.
Oh, good.
I've used it.
Good.
I've used the diagram. Yeah.
I've seen Dalek Invasion of Earth, Mission to the Unknown, 10th Planet, Microterror, Tomb of the Cybermen. I could have sworn I've seen another Trenton story, but I don't know if I have. 3 Doctors, Time Warrior, Robot, Ark in Space, Sononauts Experiment, Genesis, Revenge of the Cybermen, Keeper of Traken, Logopolis, Earthshock, 5 Doctors, Remembrance of the Daleks, Battlefield Ghostlight, Curse of Fenric, and Survival. They're the ones I've seen.
I mean, some great stories in there.
Yeah.
And some great yet to come because...
Well, I've got all the box sets. I've got all the collection box sets that...
So you're working your way through?
Yeah, slowly but surely.
Yeah.
And it's really difficult to get into a classic story though, like to just sit down and watch the whole thing, because that's how I like to consume.
It is a bit, yeah.
I know it's meant to be like a weekly thing, or it's like week 1, week 2, but and I know that's how it's televised. I know that's how it's supposed to be digested, but like the way I just like to watch them is just all in one where I can.
Yeah, that's exactly what I've been doing. So
yeah.
I'm binging Classic Who for the first time from the beginning, all the way through, which is fun. I mean, I was gonna give like little weekly updates as to where I'm at in the podcast. Last week, I was at Terminus. This week, I'm at Terminus. I've had no time to watch Doctor Who this week. I feel bad, but yeah. So not a lot of Pertwee in there. You got a bit of late Pertwee.
I'm not a big Pertwee
3 Doctors.
fan, if I'm being honest. I watched the Time Warrior first. That was my first experience, and I didn't enjoy it that much.
I'm not a big fan of the Time Warrior.
And I like the 3 Doctors. Don't get me wrong, but I think I watched that, and I love Troughton. So I watched that, and Troughton had my attention all the way through. And it's like, I don't think I need to get into like a proper good 3rd Doctor story, and don't bloody say Inferno, I swear to God. I'm waiting for it.
Inferno is not a good starting point. I
love
love Inferno.
Inferno's like great. I'm like,
I really like it. I love Inferno, but if you're going for a starting on point, it's got to be the demons. It's got to be the demons.
Okay. Well, that's season 8, isn't it? So
yeah,
we'll see next year.
Well, it's not really a jumping on point, like because it's the finale of his 2nd season. But if you're going to watch an isolated Pertwee story, I would, because I'd seen no Pertwee whatsoever up until like April this year, April, May, and then I binged the whole era, and I absolutely adore it. I love the Brig as well. The demons is. But I do get like there are issues with that era. Like it gets a bit repetitive.
I don't think it's the era. I just don't.
It's just Pertwee.
I don't know. I think it is because I just don't connect with his Doctor that well. Now I like him. Don't get me wrong. I think John Pertwee as an actor, and I get him as a person playing the Doctor, is marvelous. And when he does all these things in like the late 90s and stuff, where he sort of rocks up and he's like, "Wee," it's all fun. Like when he comes back and all that sort of stuff and does that, and he's always down for it, and he's always in character, and he's always brilliant at it. But I think watching the episodes that he's in is like his style of Doctor just didn't appeal to me. It's very James Bond-esque.
It's fair,
and that's not really fair. Like I feel like if I'm going to watch James Bond, I'll watch James Bond. I don't have to watch Doctor Who trying to be James Bond, because that's never what Doctor Who's been to me as someone who's been like I know lots of people who have been brought up on the same era that I have also really enjoy Pertwee. That's fine. I think it's just for me personally. I don't. I struggle to connect with his Doctor, and I think that's fine. And the thing is, there's so much of Classic Who that I haven't seen that I'm gonna focus on the Doctors that I really am enjoying.
Oh yeah, of course.
So I'm desperate to see more Troughton. I'm desperate to see more Baker, Tom Baker. That is.
There's so many different ways you can go about it. Because I did take a bit of a plunge, and starting at 1963 it gets rough. There's some rough points. I watched The Web Planet. It's dreadful. And there's a lot of stories like that early on. But yeah, that's a really good way of doing it. Is just picking out some of the best bits from each era, finding a doctor that you sort of gravitate towards, and then just sticking with them for a little while.
Yeah,
is a really good way of doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm enjoying what I've seen. It's just getting time to get to that point, and it's just finding the time for that.
Yeah, of course.
I've never, when I get that time, I'll jump on it, and I'm sure I'll love it. It's just like getting to that point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got to get into it to get the best out of it. You can't just stick it on and have it on in the background because you're never going to keep up.
Yeah.
I want to discuss YouTube.
Okay.
Now, you were a YouTuber.
Mm-hmm.
And firstly, I want to say congratulations because you very recently hit 10K. Is that right?
20K. Almost.
20K. Oh my God.
That makes it sound more impressive, so it's all good.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's 20K.
Was that 10,
just
10K?
Hit 20K.
I'll double it. I sound like such a dick.
I'm very sorry. No, you don't sound like a dick. I just sound like I've done no research. I did all my research a week ago when we first tried to record.
Yeah.
So 20K. How was that?
Exciting. It's a weird one. It's you get to a point and I mean, it's a strange one. I don't know how to look at it anymore. You never really consider the actual number. You just sort of, it's like a video game. You see the number go up and you see it as, you almost see it like a game score, like some points in a game or something. That's kind of how you look at it. And there comes a point where it's exciting, sure. But like back when I was like a lot younger, I got like 20 subscribers and I was like, this is amazing. This is so cool. Look at that. I got 20 whole subscribers, guys. Look at that. Amazing. And then like 100 and then 1,000 and like 20,000 is amazing, but like it just was like, oh yeah, cool, great, I'm really happy about that, that's great. But like I wasn't like freaking out. We had a party, we had a gathering, we had a few drinks, and that was that. We had a bit of a celebration in our house, but beyond that, like it wasn't like because I think when it's like, I don't know, when it's less, I think it comes out of nowhere. When it's 20K, I was on like 19.5 and like for a while. And it was like,
it's not like you don't usually get 20K out of nowhere, do you? Like not many people get it overnight. So it does make sense. Like obviously that you not necessarily become desensitized to it, but because obviously you can see that you're appreciative and like you're amazed by the fact that it's happened, which you shouldn't be because you deserve it. But just like I get what you mean. Like I'm sort of going through that now. I'm going through the start where the little numbers are massive to me, which it's really exciting. So what inspired you to kick off with the whole YouTube thing?
I mean, I always loved being in front of like a camera. I always loved that sort of thing. Not in the sense of like being an actor or anything. I hated that because like I don't know, I got a bit anxious about doing all public stuff. But I remember like even looking back to when like my younger brother was born when I was about 6. Like my mum, there's so many videos of my mum trying to like video my brother and me just jumping in front of the camera trying to take the limelight. Whatever, and if like my mum would like film me for a bit, and then if she panned away to my newborn baby brother, I'd just stop and wait for her to come back to me so I could continue talking. I've always had that sort of appeal to do that sort of stuff, and I always loved watching YouTube and all that sort of thing. I consume next to no YouTube now, which is really sad. I just haven't got the time for it, and there's so many YouTube creators that I love, I just can't keep up with. But yeah, no, I was always inspired by a lot of different people. I think like a Yogscast was always like a big one for me in terms of like comedic style and all that sort of thing. I always wanted to just do YouTube and have fun with it, and I still do. I just want to enjoy it. I'm not interested about obviously like it's like viewing figures is always a weird sort of taboo debate really in it, because it's not a thing of like I don't make videos for views, but if you're making a series and it's getting less views, you know that the people who are watching your channel aren't as bothered. So you may as well put your time into something else. So it's not about So it's sort of, they're important, but they're also not important. I'd love to sit here and go, I don't care what views I get. I really enjoy making the content that I make. But a part of me is like, if the content that I really enjoyed making eventually got like 2 views a video, then I'd probably go, ugh, yeah, I'll have to change that.
Yeah. Well, I think that makes sense, because there's a difference between, there's people who want views for clout and like for their reputation, but there's people who want views because they want to entertain people. Like they want to make something that people enjoy, and the views are sort of a way of showing, are people enjoying this? Are people interested in this?
Yeah, and that's the big thing with that. And the most time I've ever looked at views and stuff is in regards to like the classic reviews that I used to do. You'll find that on my channel, I'll do classic Doctor Who reviews. Like, I'll do a few at once and stop and not say anything about them for months. That's just because you bring it back, people go, oh, classic Doctor Who, let's watch that. And then when it's a weekly thing, people go, yep. And then more people drop off to the point where it's like, enough people have dropped off, I can stop doing these now, maybe jump back to it in a couple of months' time. People will jump on it again. Yeah. Because it's a new thing. People like new things. And if I'm continually posting stuff about just the sort of same like type of content, and people aren't, less and less people are watching it, it's like, right, okay, I've got to cut this at some point.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that makes sense. And you are one for trying new things, I must say.
Yeah.
This year especially, you've done some out there stuff. Not necessarily like, you know, you're not doing psychedelic stuff, but it's you know, a couple that I wanted to mention. So first of all, you know, earlier this year, you made 2 videos. You did the history of the Doctor and the history of the Master, which is more of a long form, almost like a documentary sort of style.
Yeah.
What was that like to make? Is it something that you've wanted to do for ages? And
yeah, I mean, I started writing it after The Timeless Children came out. I loved, you know, and even rewatching it the other day for the Doctor Who Day thing. I don't care about people's opinions on it. If you either love it or you hate it, that's totally fine. But I'm not going after anyone for their opinion. I'm just going to say that I love it. I think it's a brilliant story, and I think it definitely has its flaws. Don't get me wrong; it's not perfect. But the things that it introduces with The Timeless Child, I quite like. As the kind of person that I am that consumes Doctor Who and lore and all that sort of thing, I really like what they did with that. So I thought, I want to make a video about it. It just took me a long time to script it together. I think I started scripting it, then had a break, and then all COVID stuff kicked off, and then I eventually got back to it. And then finished it off and just sort of did it within about a month or so, and I was really chuffed with it. And the Master was about 2 weeks, but it's the same sort of thing, just less to talk about. That the main bulk of that was just the animations, because there's less of the Master's life on screen. He's only had like 1 regeneration on screen, so you think about how many incarnations there are. It's like I have to do a little animation for each regeneration and stuff, and try and work out stuff.
Yeah, of course.
And there was a little extra thing that I really enjoyed doing was, and this is probably where those sorts of videos might go in the future, was when Big Finish did the Missy Series 2 box set with the Lumiat, which I'm not going to give anything away, but it does add some stuff to the Master's timeline. I made a little 10-minute video-ish, basically in exactly the same style as like a little add-on to the complete history of the Master, basically correcting some stuff and opening up some other stuff, basically.
Yeah. Well, I love them both. I think they were both so well made. Like, that you can just see like the passion and the patience as well. It must have been frustrating. What we'll do, I'm going to take a little break, even though we've technically just had a break.
Just took a break,
but
anyway,
we'll take another little break. we want to look at more Sononauts. And when we come back, we are going to take a little wander over to the shelf and see what George wants to add to the DVD collection.
Oh, yes.
Hello, welcome back.
Now we're back.
Who knew? Yeah, we're back. We've just spent like 10 minutes just chatting about Sononauts.
Yeah,
we're very giddy. we're very excited. But we're gonna leave Sononauts for a little while.
Yeah,
and we are gonna hear what your selection is gonna be for the DVD collection.
By the power of Grayskull.
The Unicorn and the Wasp or Love and Monsters?
Which one do you think I'll prefer?
No, I mean, which one do you want to watch first?
You are pulling my leg.
right. Okay.
I hope you like the jingle, by the way.
I loved it.
I made a jingle. You don't know what it is.
No.
It's Hot Fuzz. I literally just put a clip from Hot Fuzz in there.
Brilliant.
So
brilliant.
lady.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay, so in terms of an episode or story that I love and feel like it deserves to be on the shelf,
Thank you for summarising the whole feature.
Yeah,
you just did it for me, and you did it much more eloquently than I could. So,
I feel like
thank you.
I feel like I want to go for something that isn't totally obvious that I like. I feel like I like the episodes that people generally like with Doctor Who, but it's not about that because those episodes are probably inevitably going to end up here anyway.
Yeah, they will, unless everyone thinks like this, and then it's like episode 472, and like Genesis isn't on the shelf yet, and people are losing their minds. But go ahead.
Yeah.
What is your selection?
I'm going to pick the God Complex.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. It's a good one, isn't it? Because it
is a good one.
It's a weird one. It's one that people never really think of when they think of like the best Doctor Who episodes. But maybe that's because people don't like it. But I love it. I think it's brilliant. Maybe it's the connection to the hotel and that I really like The Shining. Maybe it's lots of things. But I feel like Matt Smith's performance in that story is on point as the Doctor, one of his best Doctor performances. Is the companions. The side characters are so like full of depth. You feel something when they like die. It is good. They've done a lot of good stuff with that story, and the general aesthetic. They've managed to create almost like not really like a base under siege story, but it kind of is. But in a hotel, in like a weird alien hotel, and it's like
there's some of my favourite stories when you sort of get a base under siege, but it's not really a base and it's not really under siege.
Yeah,
but it
is a base under siege.
Always,
yeah,
it is, and I like it when they mess with that concept a bit, because little like alien. As much as I love a base under siege, everyone who watches Doctor Who, most people love a base under siege, but grey corridors and like space stations, and it can get a little bit dull. So it's nice to see them, mess around with it a bit and go for a hotel. Which is...
and it's cool because it I don't know, it has this sort of really strange vibe to it that I just really like, and the whole way through it's just weird and works just right from the get-go. They've got all the photos on the wall. The budget for the episode is probably really small because it's only probably got like a couple corridors worth of set, but it's still good. It's still brilliant. And I think that goes to show that you don't need flashy visuals or like incredible set design to have like a masterpiece on your hands. I think you've got a pretty good story here that definitely deserves to be on the shelf. And I feel like it's done on such a small scale, but that's why it works. If you had a big shot, like establishing shot of this floating hotel in space, ruins it. You know what I mean? Like every little thing that you add it would ruin it. Keep it as it is, simplistic, easy to watch, and there you go. You've got it.
Yeah. And it's a little gem. It's one of them great one-off. Matt, I've always thought that Matt's era is at its best with those one-off stories. You get like things like Vincent and the Doctor, like just one-parters. If edited like what people would usually call filler, is some of my favourite Matt stuff, and the God Complex is definitely in there because he just takes it and runs with it, doesn't he? He has an absolute ball with scripts like this.
He's incredible, and I love him as the Doctor anyway. But like the specific mention of this episode in particular is just he does something different, and I don't know what it is that's different, but he just manages to. Maybe it's the script. Maybe it's the script and how he deals with it. But he seems like more comedic and more thoughtful than like he's ever like been, and like throughout his era. Not like to like an nth degree. There's also times where he's been like a really good version of his Doctor. But like, if I were to show someone an episode of Matt Smith's era, or if I was to show anyone who's never seen Doctor Who before an episode of Doctor Who to go, this is what it is, I'd show them this. It's brilliant. It's not the best starting on point, but it's a good way to get people in the show. You watch that, and there's so many themes and ideas and concepts. You get a total view as to who the Doctor is. You get a total view as to who the Doctor is to the companions, who the companions are, how they feel, what their emotions are, what their drives are. Yeah. And you even get that with the side characters. The side characters in this episode could even be companions. One of which was even teased to be a companion.
Yes, that's what I was going to... I've not seen it for a while. What's her name again? I've completely forgotten. Rita, that's it. Yeah. Rita, great side character.
Oh, fantastic!
Great little one-off character.
But like even like the young lad and the sort of the gambler guy who's gone a bit like crackers.
Yeah,
I think they're all great. They're all really well done and just really, really enjoyable. They're just great to watch.
Yeah. It needs a rewatch. I really, really need to rewatch the story.
As well. Yeah,
I might whack it out tonight. But it's in the DVD collection.
There we go. Brilliant.
It goes on the shelf alongside Thin Ice, which is Tom Vance's pick, our first ever pick.
Good shout.
So we've got a 12th Doctor story and then an 11th Doctor story, and I'm liking it so far. I'm liking it a lot. The shelf is still sparse, but it's looking good. So, got another little feature now.
Yeah.
It's features galore from here on in. We've got some questions from all you lovely people on Twitter.
Okay.
For God's sake! Bloody Twitter!
Little jingle.
Ding.
Yeah, this is the first time I've recorded whilst knowing what the jingles are.
Yeah.
And now I have to reference the fact that I'm so lazy because the jingle for this is just David Tennant saying bloody Twitter from Broadchurch.
That's amazing.
It's the only thing that came into my head for this.
Amazing. It's totally appropriate. Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah, had to be done. Had to be done. So I want to speed run this.
Oh,
slightly. Not. You know, don't.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be a one-word answer, but you know, let's try and get a bit of flow going because there's quite a lot. We've got quite a few questions.
Oh, there. How many?
8 or 9 questions.
Wow.
Eight or 9 questions to run through. And I had to cut a few as well.
Oh.
Which is a shame.
Yeah.
But just tweet George. I'm sure you'll.
Yeah.
Just ask him.
Jump on the live stream and ask me. I'll probably answer it there.
Or here you go. You'll appreciate this. Watch every single video that George has ever put out, and the answer might be in there somewhere.
You never know. It'll be a hell of a watch, but you never know. You might find
who knows? So, question number 1.
Good plug.
This is from pronunciations. God,
I always struggle with this. Best of
Duxter
Master
Master. Duxter. I've gone full Monday. We said this last week.
I'm sure I was going to say I'm getting a bit of deja vu. I'm sure I'm going to do Doctor Master. Like really just stretched out, just pain. You just struggling. Yeah. What did they say? What did they ask?
So they asked, shall I just read out all the questions in a Mondasian Cyberman voice? I'm not going to do that.
If you want to do that, go for it.
Don't tempt me. You are asked to write a story by Chibnall for Series 13.
Okay.
What is it? What characters? And what's the plot?
Okay. This is my go-to. I think I've talked about this before, but this is my go-to because I just love it as an idea when I first thought of it. And I don't even know if it was my idea. I'm sure I probably have seen something somewhere that suggested it and thought, that's a great idea. but I think maybe not. Maybe
It's fine. Roll with the plagiarism.
Yeah.
Go.
King James I, Gunpowder Plot, 13 and Yaz. They hate, 13 hates King James because of his morals and values that he showcased in the Witchfinders, so much so that she didn't even speak to him towards the end of the episode. I think it'd be great to have him, King James, under threat by some sort of alien force. The Gunpowder Plot is actually going to work for some reason because of the alien influence, and the Doctor needs to work with someone that she hates to stop that from happening and make history sort of revert its course. It's Rosa, but as if like the person they're trying to protect and like the person the event is based around is someone that they've already met and don't like.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Where I like those stories where the Doctor has to end up on the wrong side of history a little bit, in a way to keep things as they're meant to be. That's a great idea. That is I'm sure it's a future episode for the DVD collection.
I hope so. I feel like with Alan Cumming being tempted to come back, he'd be totally down for that, and I'm sure that. But it would only sort of work in Jodie's era. So I'd hope that if they were going to do something like that, they'll do it soon.
Yeah, that would make a great Series 13 story.
Get Joy Wilkinson back.
Wow. Yeah, do it. Another question from B. TARDIS Facts.
Oh, brilliant.
She's everywhere. B's everywhere. I said this last week, and I want to give a little shout out as well because B is running part of a fundraiser at the minute.
Yeah.
Go over to @TARDIS Facts because it's an amazing fundraiser, and they are absolutely smashing it.
Yeah, they're doing incredible. They are doing really, really good.
Yeah, really smashing it. So, what two characters from different eras would you love to see meet each other, and why?
Two characters, different eras.
Yeah.
Right. God. See, I that's a really weird, because I just don't know how to. There are so many characters in the show. There's so many brilliant, amazing characters. Oh my God, that is rough. I think. Like, I'd probably want, like, an extremity. Like, I'd want Ian Chesterton to meet, like, the 13th Doctor or something. Or, like, the 12th Doctor, maybe. Or I'd want, like, I think Ace and 13 would be a really good mix. That would be great. The Brigadier with any person ever. Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sad that we never saw the Brig in New Who. I know he was in Sarah Jane, but
I don't know why not. I don't know why they didn't do it for like Stolen Earth or something. Maybe he just wasn't up for it.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what. Well, I think he was meant to come back, wasn't he? I think I've heard David Tennant say that. Oh no, he was meant to be in the Wedding of Sarah Jane episode, which would have seen David Tennant and the Brig on screen, but he was unfortunately too ill to film. Oh, that's so sad. It would have been amazing.
He's an incredible. He's an absolute legend, and it is such a shame. But I think that'd be a great pairing. Yeah, I think that's what answers it. I don't really know because there's so many amazing characters.
I've just had one that's popped in my head. Yeah, I've had one that's popped in my head.
Go on.
Right, give me a Sergeant Benton and Wilf spin-off.
Oh wow!
Where they're both
brilliant.
old. Where they're both old. Oh. Give me Wilf with all of the unit guys in their like 70s and 80s.
Oh,
fighting aliens down the bingo hall and.
Oh, that's amazing! I love that. You've smashed it. You've smashed it. That is amazing. Wilf.
I'm a bit excited. I might have to write this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna write this. It's like an old folks. It's like it's essentially Doctor Who does Last of the Summer Wine, which is a really niche reference.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to anyone who lives outside of the UK and is you know, like under the age of 65 who didn't get that reference. Next question is from Danny_Sorrel. And he has asked, what's the most overrated New Who story?
Ooh. You know, I'm going to say something, and this doesn't mean it's
Is this
bad.
another hot take? Is this another hot take?
It's
because
not
we got
hot. It's boiling.
We got a hot take from Tom last week, very hot, which was that Tom's first season 12, is not just bad. He said it's the worst series of all of Who combined.
Wait, season 12 or series?
Season 12. Season 12.
As in
Tom's first series with Genesis. He said Genesis is the only good story.
Well, he's just wrong. That's not even an opinion, because you can't discredit the Sontaran experiment like that. That's the best story of all time.
It's such a good story, the Sontaran experiment.
This hot take, right? Overrated, but not bad. Definitely not bad. It's brilliant, but overrated. Heaven Sent. It's everyone raves about it, and it is a great story, but it's always people's go-to. If someone says, what's your favourite episode? Like, Heaven Sent. It's like, it's great, don't get me wrong, but like,
I know what you mean.
It is a masterpiece, but it's not the most watchable episode of all time. It's not one that I can always go back to and go, this is like,
yeah,
you have to be in a certain mood. Whereas some Doctor Who episodes that are good, you can just watch whenever because they're easy going. Maybe that's me being a bit, just trying to hate the game a little bit, but I don't really.
Nah.
I don't know. Heaven Sent strikes me as overrated. Not like bad by any. It's fantastic. It's brilliant, but I feel like people hold it in like such a high regard that it's become now like a thing where it's like it puts me off the episode because people love it that much and like unconditionally. It's like it isn't perfect. It's pretty good and it's definitely one of the best things of Doctor Who history, but it's not like, I don't know, it's not all the be all and end all. It's not like you like I didn't watch that episode and go, well, you may as well stop the show because they've peaked. It's not really better than that. Well, no, it did, but
Yeah, no, I understand what you mean. You've not gone full hot take. You've not gone scorching take there. I'm worried about the reaction to that though, because that is very warm.
People like Heaven Sent.
It's a great episode. I think the fact that they pulled it off on like it's essentially like a little art house film, like on a one episode budget is mental that they pulled it off. But it's like going back to a phrase that's coming up a lot with the DVD collection. It's not really quintessential Doctor Who, is it? You don't watch it and think, like, if you want to watch a Doctor Who episode, you wouldn't go for Heaven Sent because it's not really.
It's depressing.
A Doctor Who episode, is it?
Yeah, it's sort of like one. It's like a one-off. Like, wow, they managed to pull it out of the bag there, but it's like a one-off. You can't do that again. They could never do that again, and that's fine. But like, World Enough and Time, they could probably do something like that again, and that's why I'm sort of looking forward to it. Because like, well, they could try something different and do that sort of same sort of similar thing again. Heaven Sent, you can't really do that again. It works and it's brilliant, but it is a bit overrated. People love it a bit too much, I find, and it's great. Don't get me wrong, it's deserved in a lot of places. But there are certain people who have, over the years, made me dislike it slightly. Just by
I'm probably one of those people.
I love it. I don't think so.
I love it.
It's brilliant. Don't get me wrong, but there are some people who like adore it unconditionally and always like talk about it. And I just don't get it. I like it. It's a great story, but it's not one that I think about every second of the day.
Yeah. So, another question from Earl Grey Trekkie.
Amazing name.
Great name.
Yeah.
Is what's your favourite... Oh, this is a great question. What's your favourite moment of sheer emotion that is well acted in Doctor Who? It's a very niche question, but...
Oh my gosh. What a question that is.
It's a good one, isn't it? It's a good
So,
one.
just like a moment that was just sort of really like emotionally rich in terms of acting and performance and all that sort of thing, like perfection, basically.
Yeah.
Oh God, there's so many though. There's so many brilliant moments.
Yeah, this is like.
That is.
I mean, there's 50 years. Like, it's like a discussion within itself.
In terms of emotion, in terms of like drive and like that seems so well acted. I'm gonna list off a few because I can't pick one.
Right? Oh, of course, yeah. List a few off.
Amy and the Doctor's Goodbye and Angels Take Manhattan.
Oh.
The Rings of Akhaten speech. Utopia, the Master revealing himself. Incredible. That whole sequence is incredible, and Derek Jacobi is a fantastic actor. There's so much energy there, and those three stick out to me. And maybe breaking the wall from Heaven Sent. Or do I dare say that after my last question? I don't know, but it is a great. He's a fantastic actor, and Peter Capaldi did a fantastic job with that.
Peter, I feel like Peter Capaldi's the one who has this the most. I mean, if I was going to reel off a few, I feel like
Zygon Inversion as well.
Yeah, that speech.
I always forget about that one because I don't really like the rest of the story.
There's also, in a bit of a, again, like I'm not that keen on the story, but this scene blows me away every time I watch it, which is when Clara and the Doctor are in the TARDIS in Death in Heaven.
Oh, yeah.
Is it in Death in Heaven or is it the other one? Death in Heaven? Yeah. But yeah, when after she throws the keys, essentially.
Yeah. But it's gorgeous.
Yeah, it's such a nice scene. And his speech in The Doctor Falls is at the end, the kind speech. It's unbelievable.
Just I think the response to this question then in that case would just be Peter Capaldi.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh, actually, there's a tiny little bit in Classic Who that I want to mention.
Go
just because we haven't, and it's probably not in a story that you'd expect, but there's Tom in The Pirate Planet. There's a scene where he's essentially debating with the pirate captain why he's doing what he's doing. Like, why are you doing that? And he sort of just snaps. You haven't seen this story, have you?
I haven't.
No. But yeah, it's a really rare moment where, because you get moody Tom and you get grumpy Tom, but you don't necessarily always get angry, shouting Tom. So it really stands out in that, because it's a really short scene as well. It doesn't go on for long, but yeah, he just, and it just feels like it comes out of nowhere. He just snaps. It's like, and you can hear it in his voice, just like, why? What is the reason for you doing this? Like, the years have taken their toll, and I just wanted to mention that. I really like that bit. It's a great little moment. Next question is from Sean Wales _.
Okay.
These people just want to get you cancelled. Who do you think is the stronger writer out of Moffat and Chibnall?
Stephen Moffat.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously.
It's good. It's got.
I mean, I think
so as well.
I love Chris Chibnall's work. I really do, but I think Moffat as a story writer has a lot of very interesting and intriguing ideas. And I'm not saying that Chibnall doesn't. I feel like Chibnall definitely brings a lot to the table. But there's a difference between writer and showrunner. Stephen Moffat is a fantastic, phenomenal writer. He always has been. My problems with him come with showrunning.
Yeah.
And how he structures his arcs, what ideas he has to pad out a series, what he does to communicate with the other writers that he's working with. That's my issue. not.
And then I think I have the opposite issue with Chibnall. I think he's a fantastic showrunner.
Yeah, agreed.
But then his individually written episodes are where things fall down a little bit for me. So, yeah, I completely agree. And I'd say that Moffat is the better writer for Doctor Who, but Chibnall is a better writer outside of Doctor Who.
Yeah.
I think things like Broadchurch and other stuff that I've seen, he's done so much.
It's such a difficult question because it's like, well, what do you mean? Do you mean Doctor Who? Do you mean? But even still, it's like showrunning. I think Chibnall, and this in itself might be a hard take. I think Chibnall is definitely the better showrunner of the two. I think he understands what he's doing. You might not like to admit it, and that's just because maybe I like his era more than other people, and I totally get that. It's all down to personal preference, but that's why I'm being asked the question. I like Chris Chibnall and his work. I like Stephen Moffat and his work, but both of them have their strengths, and I feel like Chibnall's better at showrunning than he is at writing, and I think that Moffat is better at writing than he is at showrunning, and that's just how that is. To pit them against each other is difficult, I think.
It is.
Chibnall did a great job with Torchwood, for example. And I think he did a great job with his series. I don't think the episode writing and dialogue is as good as some of Moffat's work. Definitely not. You can't get to like Blink level. That's like, but Blink's like a classic, and like Empty Child and like Silence in the Library, Girl in the Fireplace. Like his Rusty Davis era stuff was brilliant, and so was some of his era stuff as well. But you know, Chibnall's a great showrunner. He just sort of slightly lacks in the writing department for me, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I completely agree with everything you said there.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. We've got a daft little question from our first guest, Tom Vance.
Oh, brilliant!
Prior to his banning from Twitter, bless him. Hashtag unban Vance.
Hashtag
unban Vance.
Unban Vance.
He's asked you to rank the Morbius Doctors from least to most sexy.
Oh God! Hang on, let me get them up. Oh, because I don't know the names that correlate with them. I'm sorry, I'm not that good.
Yeah, no, it is hard to remember.
But I am doing this. Hang on.
I think is Hinchcliffe in there?
He's in. Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. Right, hang on. From least to most sexy, dude.
Least to most sexy. So straight off the bat. There you go, mate.
Oh, that's a really difficult one. I'm gonna go Robert Banks Stewart at the bottom because he looks a bit like Piers Morgan, and it puts me off a bit.
The Piers Morgan Doctor.
Next, George Galicio. I don't trust his mustache, but I do like his top hat.
Oh,
I just don't trust his mustache.
Yeah, when I read this question, he jumped like near the top for me. I was like, I'm liking the top hat and the mustache.
He's got a good top hat, but it's a scary mustache, my guy.
Yeah. I mean, I know my answer. I know my number one straight off the bat. But I'm gonna wait for you. You okay. Continue.
Okay. And next is Christopher Baker. Just because of his outfit, he looks like Guy Fawkes. It's just weird.
Oh yeah. Has he got like the little goatee? Yeah. I'm trying to remember these from off the top of my head. Yeah.
Then, it's difficult. Hang on.
This might be the most serious part of the podcast.
Yeah, I'm genuinely trying to work this out.
The most intense.
Because I'm between.
You're going quicker than I thought. It's like
we'll say Douglas Camfield because he gives a bit of a weird glare in the Morbius Doctor photos.
Okay, Camfield was my number one.
Was he?
I was straight in with Camfield.
Nowhere near for me.
Or Hinchcliffe. I'm undecided.
Graham Harper, who I do love, but it's a weird angle. I have to try and justify these. Christopher Barry, it's a fantastic beard.
Tell Graham Harper why he's not sexy. That's what we've just done. Tell Graham
I don't
Harper
have to justify my decision.
why.
Hang on. No, I don't have to justify why I don't find Graham Harper sexy. Graham Harper is a very talented man, very brilliant individual, very, very incredibly talented mind. I just don't happen to think he's definitely he's in the top half, I think. He's in the top half.
Keep digging.
There we go.
Keep digging that hole.
Christopher Barry's next.
Okay.
You gonna push me for a reason there, or
what? No,
right.
I think
okay. So
I think you've justified enough. It's fine. I think everyone from here is probably pretty sexy.
And then Robert Holmes, because that wig is incredible.
Yeah. Got the Holmes and Hinchcliffe are both in here.
And then we go. I think that's that, innit? I think I mentioned everyone other than Philip Hinchcliffe. Number one. Look at that. Look at that hair.
Hinchcliffe's your number one.
Look at that hair. Look at that hair.
I like that. Hinchcliffe and Holmes have to be next to each other.
Yeah.
You've just got to say Hinchcliffe, then Holmes.
Exactly.
Can't. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. I don't think Tom was probably expecting such an in-depth answer.
Well, he's got one.
I'm glad. And I'm really sorry, Graham. I'm really sorry. Just you've really upset him.
He's in the top half. I feel sorry for Glacier with the mustache.
Yeah, he's sad as well. You made them all sad. This is just taking a complete turn. I am. But this, we're going to go straight back to a serious question. Yeah. What's the hardest challenge that you've faced in your YouTube career? That's from Grattan Adam, who I assume is a person called Adam Grattan. But don't assume. What?
Don't assume.
Don't assume.
Grattan Adam.
Yeah.
Okay, Grattan. Here's my answer. I don't know what my answer is. I just want to say here, Grattan. I don't know. The biggest challenge. I honestly, that's a really difficult question because I don't know what to say to that one. It's a really weird one because I don't think there's anything that's really struck me as particularly challenging. It's really, I guess, I don't know. I think when you've got to get something out on time and you're really pressuring yourself to get like a video out or something, like the live stream that I've got coming up, like that's a big thing, which is like, that is a challenge. Yeah. That's like a thing that's taking a lot out of me. But in terms of a thing, I think it came early on, just trying to get noticed a little bit and things, really just trying to get seen, trying to make that breakthrough. And that was sort of the biggest challenge, but then it was also the easiest challenge as well because I spent years trying to go like, I need to try and get subscribers and stuff, and then I stopped caring, and then I ended up getting them then. I think it's a mentality as well, and I think when I felt challenged by that, it wasn't going well. Yeah. And now I'm not as fussed. And
that's a great answer.
It's great. Yeah.
Great answer. Grattan.
I hope you're happy.
I hope you enjoyed that.
Yeah.
At Jamie _season7 asks,
is that his birth name?
I think it is.
Potentially.
Jamie's about on Twitter. He's obsessed with Pertwee, so he's probably turned off.
I prefer that than Matt Smith's Series 7, so that's good.
Yes, fair enough. Are there any stories that you consider to be guilty pleasures? And what are your little guilty Doctor Who pleasures? I think I know what might come here.
It's such an obvious answer, though, isn't it?
There is such an obvious answer that everyone's going to jump to in their head.
It's Love and Monsters. It's got to be. It's
Love
so
and
funny.
Monsters. Everyone knows.
Right, there's three. There's Love and Monsters. I know that from sort of worst to best in terms of like the guilty pleasure ones. Orphan 55 is a bit of a guilty pleasure. I hated it at first, now I just find it a bit of because I know it's stupid and funny. It's like the modern day Love and Monsters, but not as good. Then Love and Monsters, right? My number one guilty pleasure for a Doctor Who story, because it's always funny. It's never boring. It's always funny, and it's got really serious themes in it, but it's absolutely hilarious, and it's Boomtown. I absolutely love it.
Oh, I love Boomtown. Do you think it's a guilty pleasure?
I feel like it's a guilty pleasure because it's not one that people go, that's the best episode of Doctor Who I've seen in a long, long time.
I love it.
It is.
I absolutely love Boomtown. It's so fun.
As well, it's sandwiched between like Dr. Dances and Bad Wolf. So it's always going to get a little bit forgotten.
It does get forgotten.
And it is a bit stupid, but it's memey as shit. It's got so much in it, and it's funny.
Yeah.
I just find it so funny and entertaining.
It is.
It's brilliant.
Our final question comes from the wonderful Max C. Curtis at Max C. Curtis, who, again, I'm going to assume, obviously, I know he's called Max Curtis.
Here's my answer, Curtis.
Yes. So he's asked, and this is going to lead on to a little chat as well.
Okay.
Because I want to talk about this. It's got to come up. What other Doctor Who episodes deserve the noir treatment?
Oh, I didn't mean to like burst out laughing at that. That process is really like rude. I didn't mean to be rude.
Nah, not at all.
I just sort of like, I didn't expect that to be the question. Oh.
Was it laughing in fear at the thought of making more noir episodes?
Absolutely. Yeah. You know what I love? Just on a side note, I mean, there's the obvious ones, right? First of all, Blink is a great one. I definitely want to consider. If it's me doing it, The Doctor Falls probably. It needs to be done at some point. Yeah. Just so I can make a film, like a full feature-length version.
Oh my God, yes.
We'll see.
Do that.
We'll see. Oh, Christ, there's so many. I mean, Angels Take Manhattan's always a shout as well, because that is like a detective kind of noir-y type thing.
Yeah, that's not one I've thought of.
But it works,
actually.
Though. And
it would work.
I kind of like the idea of it. Beyond that,
Weeping Angels in black and white would be
exactly
just any Weeping Angel episode really would probably work.
But maybe it's worth, if I ever do develop this as like a long-term project, maybe it is worth doing a story for different monsters. Maybe it is worth doing that as the Weeping Angel story, Dr. Falls and World Enough as the Cyberman, and picking a Dalek story. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I think lots of episodes deserve noir treatment. I think it's such a underrated like idea, and I absolutely love the style of it. But I would like to say, generally, there's been a lot of people who have put stuff on Twitter, which is like their fan-made poster for like a potential noir episode of like Doctor Who, and the posters, I have to say, are so good. I am already stunned that like I'm honestly worried that if I ever do try these episodes, that I'll never be able to match the quality of their poster. And it's like, it's so, I'm baffled that like something that I wanted to work on in my free time, there wasn't even a YouTube thing.
You even got me making one. I made one as well.
Did you?
Yeah.
I probably
shared it. I think
I probably did.
You did
but
share
the thing
it,
is, because
but you get so many. Yeah.
There's there's a good few of them that I've probably seen it and loved, and it's probably one of the ones I loved. And it's like,
it's such a great idea. Just black and white Doctor Who episodes, like New Who episodes, is a genius idea. So like I made one for Blink when it was, when that Halloween thing.
That's the one I was talking about. It's brilliant.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Oh, it's good. There's quite a few, and I just think like it's so brilliant to see like not only people doing those posters, that's already great, but people making those posters, put them on Twitter, going at Ace Creek 2. I look at this, I'm like, it's cool that like I've like, I don't know, done this thing where people have just like caught on to this like trend all of a sudden.
You've inspired a movement. Well, I want to talk about it because I actually, because I wanted to, I actually saved it, so I didn't watch it when you first released it, and I watched it a little bit more recently because I was going to watch it a couple of weeks ago, and then I knew that you were coming on, so I thought I'll watch it as part of my preparations, and I was absolutely blown away. It was absolutely incredible.
Thank you.
You've improved a masterpiece. That's what I feel like.
I
you've
mean,
done.
I could never.
I mean, I love both
I've
versions,
it,
of course. That's fine.
Yeah.
But I personally would. The moment it finished, I was like, "Oh God, I need to rewatch that again. I need to rewatch that."
Well,
because it's like, I think you said it in a video recently where you said something along these lines where it's like people have played with this idea a little bit before, where it's just a filter, but you haven't. You've recut this. You've actually edited this shot by shot, and
it's a weird one, and it's it all came from me having a new favorite film, which was The Lighthouse. I watched that very recently, and I adored it. It's a fantastic film. And for those who are listening,
I haven't seen it yet.
Watch it. It's amazing. I loved The Shining for years. It was always my favorite film. Watched The Lighthouse, and it takes very few films to be able to do that. I watched The Lighthouse twice within 1 week, and then I went to see it at the cinema when I could, given COVID and all that sort of thing. Wow. Every single time, it's brilliant. It is a fantastic film, and it amazes me as someone who was always quite fickle about the idea of just thinking, well, why just have it in color? You can see more. Why have it widescreen? You can see more. But that film, when I watched it, I'm like, that wouldn't work in widescreen. That wouldn't work in color. This is the only way to watch it. And I was like, and I put a tweet out, and you can probably still find it now. I was like, about like a couple of days after I watched it, I was like, it'd be really cool if Series 13 had an entirely like noir, black and white 4x3 episode, just as a random thing, because Doctor Who could do that, and I would absolutely love. I would absolutely adore that if they did that. And then I sort of thought, well, I've got a bit of time on my hands, and I kind of fancy doing a project. I thought, if I were to make, like, just get an episode of Doctor Who, recut it, redo it, just an episode, not a story, not like getting linked into any 2 parts or anything, just an episode, because I don't want to lose interest in this. What would people want? And there was loads of ideas. I put it in a poll, people voted for it, and despite some coming very close, World Nothing Time stole it. And I got to work. It was a thing of, I didn't want it to be World Nothing Time but 60s. That's not what it was. What it is it's that's why I called it noir. I didn't call it like World Nothing Time 60s edition, because it's not that. It's not that. I didn't lower the quality of the video. I didn't play about with it. I added some noise here and there, but I wanted the quality of the camera, like the camera quality, to remain the same, so that it wasn't like a ball ache to watch. It wasn't like the audio wasn't buggered or anything. It was the same episode. It's just a slightly different visual style, not decreasing the quality in any sort of way, shape, or form.
And that's what stands out genuinely when you watch it. It's like you said, there's other people, not to put them down, it's exactly what they wanted to do, but they've made like 60s versions of Doctor Who episodes, but this is something different. It's
not a unique idea, and I have seen so many people do like World Nothing Time things, even like back in 2017, and I'm not trying to take anything away from them. That's they had an idea, they did it, and they did it very well. I had the similar idea, and I did it in my way, in my own thing. I'm not trying to say it's better, but like recutting this episode bit by bit, I wanted to make, I had my own vision for it. And like, even still, like I wanted to, because for me, just, even though I went through the episode and every time the camera cut, sliced the footage and then just changed everything from like where it was. I mean, must be about 400 different shots, 400, 500 at least different like shots in the episode to reframe, recolor, re-edit basically. Some of which didn't work. There was one shot that really didn't work and I couldn't get right, and I had to like add some VFX to be able to actually make it work, and it's thankfully unnoticeable. And it's the shot where Bill's in the elevator and it's just a close-up of her eyes. Because of like even trying to cut it in, there's no way of being able to have both of her eyes in that sort of short frame, so I had to sort of
that's not something that I thought of actually.
Black filter around it and stuff. I get why people look at it in the trailer and stuff and go, well, you just put a filter on it. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. You can do that. But if you look at the shots and you put both episodes side by side, you'll see that this one shifts back and forward because of every shot being moved slightly to make the focus of each shot be. The focus of every shot should remain the same. It was a love letter to Rachel Talalay's work. And when you're directing, you're focusing on a particular subject, who's talking, and why are you framing them like that? What are you trying to convey? So that's what I wanted to keep with this. I wanted to do this, but I wanted to not just slap a filter on it. I wanted to still keep to what Rachel Talalay was trying to convey in every single shot of this marvelous episode. It needs to stick to the same thing, otherwise,
of course, then
it loses the meaning of what it is, and then it becomes disrespectful, in my opinion. It's just like going, well, I can just stick a filter on that, and then I've got something. It's like I want to make it a version that's watchable, and then I add my own stuff in because I love to. I love the idea that I'd started hyping it up. People were looking forward to it. I was like, well, I've got to add some stuff in that will excite people when they watch it, like a big difference that they'll notice, opposed to just moving it around. So,
like getting rid of the dab.
Like getting rid of the dab, which people notice. That's just a personal thing of mine. I hated that, and I was like, "Is there a way?" And I was looking at it, and I was going, "Is there a way for me to make it work in terms of the shot?" And it was actually quite difficult to get rid of.
Oh yeah, it's seamless. It's absolutely seamless, though. And it does work.
The one that no one actually picks up on, which is a really weird one, is getting rid of one of John Sims' lines where he says, "Give us a kiss." It's not in there.
Oh yeah, you did cut that.
So he says,
"I hate that line." I completely
hey,
agree.
Hello, Missy. I'm the master. I'm very worried about my future. And then it cuts to a shot of Missy, and then to Capaldi, opposed to it cutting back to Sim and going, "Give us a kiss," and then to Capaldi.
Yeah, because it's because I'm really worried about my future. Is a great line. It's a bit of a we're going back to like the Moffat writing, but there are these elements where sometimes he just gets a little bit too horny, doesn't he? He just has to add a little.
Yeah, I mean, the Doctor Falls is going to be a hell of a bloody edit if I ever get around to that.
Yeah.
For God's sake, I can't wait.
Well, I want to say on behalf of Doctor Who fans everywhere, thank you for doing it, because it's absolutely brilliant. And if you haven't seen it, please go and watch it. All of the links are on your Twitter. Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, I'll share it around at some point. I'd love to be able to announce something like on this podcast and be like, I'm working on this. But I'm just not at the moment. Like I might gear up to it. I might think about it. It's definitely something to consider, and I know people really enjoyed it. But I don't know. I'd have to get people.
Yeah, it's not something you can do all the time because it
took forever.
Painstaking process.
It was a big thing, and I'm very proud of it. Don't get me wrong. However, if I was to do it again, it would take that entire process again, and it would be working on stuff like that. But yeah, no, I loved, and I was tempted to do a video about talking about all the little changes that were made and all that sort of thing. I never got around to it, but I probably didn't want to do a tweet about it at some point, just because I feel like I wanted people to watch it and see if they could spot the differences first. And then like talk about it and be like, "Hey, did you catch this? Did you not?" I mean, like the ones, there's very, very subtle things. I was really fond of first of all, the BBC ident at the beginning. That's always that's a one. I got my mate.
The titles are brilliant.
Well, that was made by a YouTuber. I can't remember the name. Was it like O'Chenery or something? He did a fantastic job with that. He just gave me a concept. He's like, "Look, I know you're working on this noir thing. I can do a title sequence for you. Like, if you want, I can do this." And it's so responsive and was just like, I could put Peter Capaldi in and it could move just like the guy's face did in the test footage for the 60s intro. Like, that is incredible. Do it. That's amazing.
Yeah.
He did it, and it did look amazing. and I had to use I actually took almost lessons from him when I got a title sequence back. I was like, right, every time I use text for stuff in this noir thing, I'm gonna have to follow his thing and have a little shake effect and stuff, little things like that. Just set it off so much, and it's gorgeous.
Yeah, they really, really do.
The ident at the beginning was a total. I think I got my mate who I live with to do a 3D model rendered of the planet, and then I'd sort of piss about with everything else, and it worked. And then I think just general stuff like music changes here and there, and my personal favorite was putting Bill's face over the Mondasian Cyberman for individual
I love
frames
that little
at a time,
touch.
because it's a blink and you'll miss it. It's akin to The Exorcist. I took it from, where it's like, I don't know if you've seen that film.
I haven't. No, I'm exposing myself.
For those who, it's all right. I only watched it recently, but for those who have it, there's a sort of throughout the film, there is the face of a sort of demon that pops up for single frames at a time during the film to showcase how possessed the child is. It's scary. It's sudden. Blink and you'll miss it. And I wanted to do that with this. I thought having photos of Bill's face looking horrified, just taken before she gets turned, when she's being held back, taking those screenshots and putting them over the top with a high contrast filter, and just for a frame. I wasn't sure if it would look too tacky, but I was really happy with how it looked.
No,
and I was like,
you should be. It's and all of it is great. So, we are about to find out. We're about to take a little trip down the corridor of fame. But just before we do, I just wanted to take the time to ask you about your fundraiser.
Yeah.
And I would explain it, but I think you can do it better yourself, if I'm honest. So, the floor is yours. Tell us all about the FUNDR-ACE-ER.
It's impossible to say. I've been using that for 4 or 5 years, and it never gets any easier to say. FUNDR-ACE. Just say fundraiser. Just say fundraiser.
Fundraiser. It's great on paper. It's great on paper. Though.
Literally great on paper, but in practice, nightmare. So basically, what I'm doing is, in the past, I've done these sort of things, which is basically like a live stream event, inspired by people like the Yogscast or whatever. I wanted to do a live stream event type thing, where I raise a bit of awareness and some money for a good cause. This year and some previous years, I've been doing it for Young Minds, which is a brilliant charity that looks after the mental health struggles of young people and teenagers. It's one that's very important to me personally, and I'm delighted to be fundraising for them again. This year, on the 5th of December, on my YouTube, Ace Creeper, from 11 o'clock in the morning till 11 o'clock at night, I'll be doing 12 hours of just live streaming. There'll be lots of exciting stuff in there. I don't know what else to say. We're doing a sort of charity auction as well, but it's all just towards the cause, just to try and raise as much money and awareness, of course, for this wonderful charity. The aim is 1,000. Last time we got 1,400, so the aim's 1,000, but we're going to try and push past that if we can, and just try and hopefully do our best, really. During the live stream, there's going to be lots of different things, like segments. I've got an interview with Emily Cook. I've got a gingerbread TARDIS challenge. Trying to think what else there is. There's an audio drama hour. There's a big old Kahoot quiz where everyone can get involved and try and play for the number one spot in exchange for a prize, which I still haven't decided yet. There's a lot of stuff going on, and it's basically just everything for a good cause, basically. Well, it sounds absolutely amazing, and thank you.
It's great to see. There's a lot of great little fundraising things going on in the Doctor Who community at the minute. Obviously, we mentioned that Bee's doing one earlier on, and then you've got yours. It's great.
Sophie Ellis was doing one as well with a art one. Yeah, that was brilliant.
So it's amazing. Some proper kind people doing kind things, and it's going to be very entertaining, very, very entertaining, and very excited for it.
Yeah,
Very,
no, so
very
I.
excited. How are you planning on getting through the? Because obviously you've done it a few times now. How are you planning on getting through the 12?
It's a good mix of pre-recorded and live. Everything goes out live for the first time, so even the pre-recorded stuff, like most of it hasn't been seen before, so it'll be going out there and you'll be able to see it exclusively, early access or whatever. I will say, because by the time this goes out, it'll probably be already announced, is that some people may know Who Chaser or Don Martin, who's currently the Purple Doctor in DW 2012's fan series. There's an exclusive Christmas special audio drama thing that is going to be streaming for the first time on the live stream. So
amazing.
You'll get to see that on there. That's quite exciting. But there's a lot of other stuff like that as well. It's stuff where it's about half and half of stuff where it's like pre-recorded but new stuff that you can watch, and actual like live stuff, me sitting down. But I'll be on every hour to read out new donations, read out existing donations, and play a few little exciting video messages as well from Doctor Who YouTubers and potentially Doctor Who actors. Who knows? I'm not going to say anything at the moment about that, but we'll see. I've got some stuff, so it'll be something for you guys to watch, and hopefully something for something that people will get a lot of enjoyment out of, at least.
I thought what you were going to say in terms of how you're going to get through was going to be it's part pre-recorded and part cocaine. Just straight cocaine.
No.
Loads of drugs. Not really. You're a good boy, I'm sure. Right, let's take a little trip. There's a part of this wonderful building that is the Who Knew building, the metaphorical building. There's a lovely part called the Corridor of Fame.
Have you ever been limited by who you were before?
One day I shall come back. Yes, I shall come back.
Our lives are different. Anybody knows this. That's the exciting part.
Sarah Jane?
Do I have the right?
Some people's small, beautiful events is what life is all about.
Compared to us, 10 million years of absolute power. That's what it takes to be really.
Every great decision creates ripples. Like a huge boulder dropped in a lake.
But it was a childish dream that made you a doctor. You dreamt you could no more.
I'm not just the title. I'm the last of the title. It just disappears, doesn't it? Everything you are gone in a moment, like breath on a mirror.
I do what I do because it's right! Because it's decent! And above all, it's kind!
Love abides in the face of everything.
Another jingle. Another new jingle. I hope everyone's liking the jingles. This one's a little bit more somber. It's lots of little clips from Doctor Who history. I haven't just ripped off some audio from a TV show or another film. So, the Corridor of Fame. What it is each week, similar to the DVD collection, our wonderful guest will be submitting a person to the Corridor of Fame. It's a Hall of Fame. I've ripped off the concept. So, who... I get really, really excited when I ask people this. Who are you submitting to be the new name in the Corridor of Fame?
So, I saw that Tom Vance had picked Elizabeth Sladen.
Yeah.
Right, which is an incredible choice and one I would have gone with.
It's a great choice.
But I saw that and I thought, there will be a lot of classic Who ones. And I want to just spice it up with a person who's been heavily involved with modern Doctor Who. Who I absolutely adore. The passion for the show, the energy for the show, and the fan base and everything like that. As well as their desire to constantly be in the show. And that's John Barrowman.
Oh, that's great. And what a week to pick. What a week to pick.
Exactly.
Jack's back.
Yeah, he's an absolute star. All the way from Series 1, Series 3, Series 4, briefly in the End of Time, Torchwood, all of Torchwood, and then back in series 12, and who knows, 13, maybe beyond. He, as a person, is so lovely and so open with fans. He absolutely, I mean, he has a Dalek in his house, and he's the biggest fanboy of the lot. He's like if a Doctor Who fan got to be in Doctor Who, and he still hasn't calmed down about it 15 years down the line. And that I respect.
It's great, isn't it? I love
that. He's not just that, but I think he marked a new age for Doctor Who in terms of progressiveness and being one of the biggest sort of openly LGBTQ companions.
Yeah, of course.
And characters in the show, which is, again, like absolutely stunning from the whole show's perspective to be able to add that in. Not only add that in, but add that in the same series where Rose uses the word gay as an insult. Yeah, it's he's just a brilliant actor, who, to me, he doesn't even feel like an actor anymore. He just is Captain Jack, and that it's just exciting. It is exciting. He is marvelous in the role, and he's marvelous out of the role. Towards the fans, towards the show, he loves it basically almost as much, if not more, than we do. So I feel there's a lot going for him, and he's definitely a name that I'd like to see in there.
It's a fantastic choice. That's a really good choice, because it's someone that I wanted to be in here. It's quite frustrating for me having absolutely no control, but I wanted him to be in here, but I didn't think he'd get picked for a while. So to get him in episode 2, I'm very happy. Very, very happy.
And there's lots of people who have been like massive inspirations throughout Doctor Who who have been absolutely brilliant. Yeah. John Barrowman, though, I think is one that maybe people wouldn't jump to straight away. And I thought maybe if I don't say it, I don't know who, like many people who would jump to that straight away. So I thought he's definitely worth a mention, though, because he's been around longer than, like, I mean, he's seen, 3 Doctors now?
Yeah. And
potentially, it was potentially a 4th if he was able to make the Shoot for Good Man Goes to War. It's mad.
But he's probably, I mean, the characters are completely different, but he is the equivalent of the Brigadier for New Who.
Oh, basically, yeah.
Yeah, like he's obviously got more alien, links, but he's got Torchwood, whereas the Brig's got Unit, and it's that he transcends eras. Like you've got these very distinct eras of the show, and you could drop the Brig and Captain Jack in any of those eras. You could drop the Brig into New Who, you could drop Captain Jack into Classic Who, and it would work.
Yeah, it's exactly what it feels like. It's like the Brigadier showing up in like Battlefield. That's what Series 12 was for Captain Jack, and it's like he's back and he's still doing it. He's still bang on the money. He's still brilliant at what he does, and I think
what a genius character as well.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
And because you do sort of get the fun Captain Jack a lot in Doctor Who, but then you also get in Torchwood, such incredible character development across those series, and by the end of it, like there's moments where Captain Jack in Torchwood and Captain Jack in Doctor Who, you always love him, but you really have to question whether he's a good man, and that makes a great character.
I think that's why I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes, especially under Chibnall, who obviously really did a lot of that character development with Torchwood.
Yeah.
With his own hands, he established a lot of that, and I'll be interested to see where that goes. But
it's always good to have him back in it. It's always good. As soon as you see John Barrowman, it just lights up your little soul.
Yeah.
Oh. And to see him fighting Daleks again, that's going to be good.
Absolutely,
it's got to be good. So, fantastic submission, and a fantastic guest. I want to say a big thank you. I do have one last question, which I have so far and will ask all of my guests, which is, what does Doctor Who mean to you?
that's a solid question.
Yeah.
Without Doctor Who, I don't think I'd be the person I was today. And I'm not just talking about YouTube. I'm not just talking about the stuff that I make and being at like a media uni. I mean, like personality, who I am, my own morals and ethics. It's, you know, people talk about education and Doctor Who and is that the right thing? But Doctor Who's always been educational to me because it always teaches you right and wrong in a way different from like Star Wars, you know. It's exemplified. It's that, like, the Doctor is a character, male or female, or, you know, black or white, it doesn't matter. The Doctor is a character that has always represented this idea of using the mind, thinking your way around problems, not having to fight your way out of things. And it sounds a bit like cheesy here and there, but I think that is something I've always kind of kept with me as a person. I think I've always kind of stuck by that, in a sense where, like, growing up, the show was a huge factor in me going, growing up into who I am now. I've never stopped watching it. It's been there all the way through my life, and it will continue to be, hopefully. It's a fantastic show, but not just because it has a few good episodes here and there, and there's a great direction, like one every series or something, and there's like a character return, and it's a great show because of, at its core, it is positive, it's uplifting, and it teaches everyone, young and old, a lesson, not just about history, not just about science, but about good ethics and morals. And I think that is important, especially in this day and age.
Well, what a beautiful answer. What a way to end the podcast. That was Capaldi-esque. What a beautiful speech. No, genuinely, I completely agree with all of that. And what you've just said there has summed up everything that I want for this podcast as well. It's just what I want. I want positivity, and I want good ethics, and hopefully we can all go on that lovely journey together. What a pleasure it has been. Plug away. It's your time to plug. Obviously, it's hilarious that, you know, it's my second episode. You are literally one of the biggest Doctor Who YouTubers there is. You plug away to everyone who already knows who you are, but go ahead.
Yeah, I mean,
Harriet Jones.
I've got it. Yeah. Yeah. Obviously, YouTube. If you're not already subscribed, please do. We're trying to just get more and more people on board, more and more discussions, more and more people to have those discussions about the future of Doctor Who. I like to talk about news, and especially with filming that's coming up, it's always good to discuss those things, break these sorts of news down. And yeah, in terms of what's coming up, obviously got the live stream, which I previously mentioned, and that's going to be uplifting and exciting, hopefully, for people in general, especially Doctor Who fans.
Yeah, definitely.
And I've got a few things which are coming out towards the beginning of next year, which I'll be quite excited about talking about for a while, but I haven't been able to yet, so I'm looking forward to those. That's a nice little tease into there. So
yeah,
if that's not an incentive, I don't know what will be. There's some exciting stuff coming. So yeah, that's that. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and obviously follow the Twitter accounts for this podcast, because you need to do that. The Twitter accounts, can you follow on Spotify? I'm new to Spotify. I haven't been using it.
You can, yeah.
Follow the podcast.
Yeah, please do.
Share it.
We're now live on quite a lot of platforms. If you go to the Twitter, which is Who Knew Podcast, all one word, or you can follow myself, which is Josh Ryan Carr, all one word. All of the links will be on there, but we're now on Spotify, Google Podcasts, and the two main ones that I'm still working on are Apple Podcasts and TuneIn. But hopefully in the next week or so, it'll all clear through and I'll be able to get on there as well. But that's about it. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Very good.
what I would like to say is if you've come to this podcast for the first time from my socials and from my neck of the woods, then please do stay tuned with the future podcasts. Don't just check in for this one and then dip. There's going to be some exciting stuff on here. You want to check it out. He's a great host, and it's got a lot of potential, and I'm very excited to keep listening. And I'm not a big podcast person, so that's definitely a compliment.
That is very lovely. There are some... The guests make this. There are some amazing guests coming on, I have to say.
There we go.
Like, you are one of them as well. You have been one of them. Thank you very much. And thank you for being a fantastic YouTuber.
Thank you for having me on, and thank you very much for the hour and a half of compliments. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, I'm a fan. What can I say?
Yeah.
I'm like the Ace Creepers Linda.
Who knew he's now an Ace Creeper Stan account?
I'm a stan. I stan you.
Brilliant.
Love it. Vibing.
That's not terrifying in the slightest. Oh, brilliant.
Thank you for listening to Who Knew, a Doctor Who podcast. Remember to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts for new episodes every week. And if you can leave us a review, it would really help us out. And a big thank you to the Sononauts for providing cover of the Doctor Who theme as the theme tune for the podcast.